Hello everyone and welcome back to another DrAce video. Today we're going to be playing as Marco Bezzecchi using the VR46 Pertamina Enduro Ducati right here in the circuit of Assen. Now Assen's probably happened already, but I can still make predictions for what's going to happen this weekend. So here we go then, with Bezzecchi at the back of the grid. We'll wait for the red lights to disappear and away we go. So I'm going to be trying to come back here from 22nd all the way up to 1st. And we'll try and squeeze in a bit of chat about Aprilia and Marco Bezzecchi as well, because this is a great video here today, because I love Marco Bezzecchi, I love the circuit of Assen, and I love making videos, so this should be a cracking video combination all the way round, as Augusto Fernandez a bit wide there on the left-hand side, as we've just gained a few positions, already up to 14th, so 8 places found already as we launch up at the inside of Alex Marquez. Now through an Air Bastiani, and for some strange reason, I've just hit the ride-height device. I went into autopilot mode there, I pressed the X button for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Thankfully we were able to disengage it, but I hate using it in a situation where I think it may not disengage. I can use it probably coming out of Steckenwald here, so let's straighten the bike up and then use it here, no problem, because I can brake in a straight line now going into the Debolt corner. Brilliant. So anyway, I'm releasing this video here today after probably the race has ended for Assen in the real life MotoGP weekend, so I'm going to do a bit of a prediction, but I understand that racing would have concluded by now. I'm actually recording this early on in the week, so no practice, no discussions, nothing's been said. I've just got to go on instinct to see what's going to happen, but I would likely think that it's going to be someone like Pecco Bagnaia, who's leading this Grand Prix already by quite a gap to Pedro Acosta. Oh my god, I got touched there from Morbidelli, got pushed a bit wide into turn 18, but we're still on board. That's alright, that's fine by me. But yeah, I would very much expect that Pecco Bagnaia has probably won here today in Assen. He absolutely adores the circuit. And of course is a very, very strong competitor. And I think with all the contract signings and such, I think Pecco's ready to take that attention back away from the likes of Martin, Marco Bezzecchi, and his future teammate Marc Marquez as well. So I'm expecting Pecco to have won here today, but maybe a little surprise in there. Possibly Pedro Acosta's got his first win. I don't know. It would be very cool to see something like that. And I do hope that the man on screen right now finished on the podium. I guess I'll come back to this video, or at least you guys can tell me in the comment section how accurate that was for Assen. I've got to think that Jorge Martin probably did something crazy. I'm thinking he crashed. That's the feeling I've got right now. Probably ended up winning, and then it was the opposite for what I've just said. But hey, predictions are a crazy thing, and I think it's kind of probably a moot point, considering I'm doing it now. So I would probably like to focus on talking about Marco Bezzecchi and the factory Aprilia. Personally, I think that is a terrific, terrific decision from both. Oh, Pecco's gone. I was wondering why there was a yellow flag. Goodness me, he's had a horrendous crash there. What's happened to Pecco? He's out. I said that Martin would crash, and then, well, in real life, and yet Pecco's binned it into the penultimate corner here in the game. Bizarre. Well, there you go then. We don't have to catch up to Pecco anymore. We have to catch up to the man who's leading, Pedro Acosta. Jorge Martin in third as we scythe our way through now on Fabio Di Gianantonio. But yeah, Pecco interrupted me there, so let's get back to it. Enea Bastianini, of course, moving as well. I'll just want to make a note of that because I want to talk about that later on. But for now, Marco Bezzecchi moving over to the factory Aprilia team, I think it is absolutely incredible. The fact that Bez, he does deserve a factory seat. I think he's a terrific rider. Probably a little bit biased me saying this because I do really like Marco Bezzecchi, but GP22 last year proved how good he was. And on the GP23, not really proving his worth yet, has had a podium, but I think we've still got to see more from Marco Bezzecchi this season, which I do think we will see. I think he'll be on the podium in Assen. I think he'll get a win this year, but don't know when. I think he will have a good season ultimately, but oh, just bumped Maverick Vinales ever so slightly there. But I think moving into a new team, within the sense of Aprilia having that support from a pretty established team now with some excellent development, a very stable bike, good turning, Maverick Vinales loves it, so does Aleix Espargaro. I think Marco Bezzecchi could thrive there. having a teammate now with Jorge Martin, a rival teammate, who of course he used to contend with the Moto3 Championship for back in 2018, it's going to be a very interesting dynamic in the Aprilia RSGP team, and I'd love to see them both do well. A little bit of me wants Jorge Martin to go to the Aprilia team, which is doing next season, and win the MotoGP World Championship. I think it would be terrific for the Noale factory for Aprilia, and I just think it's something that Martin deserves. I think the fact that Factory Ducati didn't give Martin the factory seat is quite offensive to Jorge, and I could see why he feels that way, because they've dangled a carrot for 2 seasons now and still didn't give it to him. They still made it awkward with trying to sign Marquez, and they made it awkward with changing of the seats for Pramac Ducati as well, and didn't just give Martin the respect that he deserved. And I think for Ducati, it's important for them not to get too big-headed. I appreciate and understand that the Italian brand of the Ducati is by far the best bike on the grid, but they were just 10 years ago struggling to get riders to sign for them. Some riders would consider it as a final move of their career to go there and test the Ducati would be a death sentence. Now we're looking at the bike saying if you're on a Ducati you have a chance to win. It's a completely different ethos, it's a complete different way of thinking as well for the brand, and I think them messing around with Martin, dangling the carrot as well for him and Bastianini is going to backfire. I think having the likes of Martin on a factory Aprilia on another European bike is not going to be good for Ducati. Having Enea Bastianini, a star-studded talent like himself, going to the factory KTM or Tech 3 KTM but with factory support is not going to do them favours either. And now they've lost Marco Bezzecchi to the factory brand. So I don't know what Ducati are doing, and I think signing Marquez, as good as it is because it's almost a guaranteed world champion, it's not going to be good for their camaraderie and team effort. And even now Pramac's thinking about moving to Yamaha. So how the towers have changed. We're having one massive tower of just Ducati, now changing to Aprilia, KTM. There's a lot of parity in MotoGP and I'm all for it, but Martin is definitely the movement, the sort of chess piece that allows everything else to move, and it's evident so clearly with all these signings now. Martin's gone to Aprilia, Maverick's left Aprilia, Marco Bezzecchi joins Aprilia, Enea Bastianini goes to the Tech 3 KTM because Marc Marquez has gone from Grassini to factory Ducati. So musical chairs in MotoGP, but I've got to say, this all started because of that man ahead of us, Jorge Martin, and I do think that Ducati have done him a disservice. So, to bank my original point, I wouldn't mind betting that Jorge Martin goes for it this season. If he comes up short, then he'll probably come up and win next season with the Aprilia. That's my predictions for now. But I've got to say, I don't think anyone can beat Pecco Bagnaia. That's the only thing I don't think anyone can do. And I don't think enough people give credit to Bagnaia. A lot of people just seem to think, oh, he's a bottle job, don't worry about it. He's a double MotoGP world champion. The first champion in the sprint era. The last champion of the modern MotoGP that we know and loved. It's going to be difficult to beat Pecco, but biased, full biased, I love Marco Bezzecchi and I can't wait to see him do well on the factory Aprilia. Aprilia RSGP is going to work out so well for Bez. He has that aggressive style, but also very smooth and fast. But at the same time, I think he can really do well with the Aprilia. It's just a gut instinct I've got right now. I think his style on the Ducati is really solid, but the issues with the turning for the GP23 is not working for Bez. It's not working too well for Digia either. When they had the GP22, they were able to manoeuvre the Ducati, but the GP23 not being quite as easy to turn, I don't think it works out well for Bez. He's very much a straight line breaker with consistency and stopping power. Oh, in fact, Marquez has just gone down. What's happened to Marquez? He's gone in the same spot as Pecco Bagnaia. So the two factory Ducati teammates for next season have both binned it in the penultimate corner. That's unbelievable. In fact, I didn't even mention Marquez actually for the predictions this weekend. He's going to be up there somewhere, he always is, especially Assen. Might not be the best stomping ground for Marquez, but He won the most iconic race, well, maybe not the most iconic, but one of the best iconic races in MotoGP's modern era. The one in 2018, he came out on top after 175 overtakes were shared in that race. I don't know how accurate that statistic is, but I watched that Grand Prix and I cheered from start to finish, and I would probably assume there was around 200 overtakes. It was brilliant. But, oh, I've gone wide. I got a little bit excited there thinking of the 2018 MotoGP Dutch TT. Well, I've got to do all that work again. I was trying to get through and give myself a chance to chat about MotoGP, but yeah, that's gone heck to a handbasket, hasn't it? Got to do all the effort again, but to be honest with you guys, I've kind of lost track of my topic here today. I'm a bit thrown off now after making that mistake and getting rather in-depth with the prediction, so I hope I haven't waffled too much. But I'm recording a lot of videos here today because next week I'm going to Germany for BMW Motorrad Days in Garmisch, so I've got to get as many videos done as possible to ensure I don't leave a day without a video, because that would just be awful. I would not want to do that. I would not want to skip a video if I could help it. Oh, I've gone! Whoa! Did Martin turn on me then, or what? Oh my god, we're meant to be teammates next season, Martin. Christ almighty, I thought that was it for sure. Bloody hell. Would have been straight back to the drawing board to do this video again. Thank god I can still go, but yeah. I'm going to be trying to still continue to upload every single day, but I will be gone for Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday in Germany. So if you're at BMW Motorrad Days in Garmisch, then head over to the esports trailer. I'm going to have Ride 5 in there with some of my German colleagues, and we can show you some Ride 5. I think I'll get back on Ride 5 actually this weekend. And considering that you're watching this video on Sunday, I'll let you know if I did end up going back on Ride 5. It's Aleix Spargaro. He's binned it. Did he? I think he touched me a little bit aggressive there into the corner there, so Aleix down and out in the middle of the circuit here in Assen. So, let's recap and refocus because we're on lap 8 and we are 2 seconds behind. I was convinced I'd get a track limit warning for touching the green there, but somehow we got away with it. I need to pull back quite a bit of time on Acosta. That's not going to be easy. Of course, Acosta will be in the front. Oh my god, I made another mistake. This is going... Oh, there's no way! This is going heck to a handbasket. I've got to try and concentrate here and just calm down. But yeah, speaking of Pedro Acosta, he'll be in the factory KTM team next season, joined with Brad Binder. I think it's a bit of a tough situation for the KTM boys because it's gone from Brad Binder being the star to having a backup and support of the likes of Jack Miller to now being a case of where Brad Binder's the kind of, I don't want to say the second option, but you have to believe that all attention is on Pedro Acosta. And Binder hasn't had the best of seasons this year. Granted, he has been injured, but we've not seen the same Binder. So I do worry that they've sort of gone off Binder a little bit. Not by much, but enough to consider Pedro Acosta as the rider to beat in KTM. And it's hard to disagree with when I think he's probably leading the championship challenge compared to Binder. Must be very close. I haven't actually had a chance to look at the championship results yet, or the team standings and such. But I do feel with the Pedro Acosta's charge, they could start considering Pedro Acosta as the future, well, he's already the future, but the go-to guy for the Pierre Mobility Group. And I think that's really sucks for Binder, it really does. The guy has done nothing but good things for KTM, same as what Miguel Oliveira did. But having the youngster, the future of MotoGP, just turn up and literally light the world on fire, it's hard to not give him the praise, credit and contracts that he deserves. So it must be tough to be Binder, it really must. But interesting stuff at the moment. I do hear that Jack Miller might have an opportunity to sign with Gresini. I think it's a really good decision. Jack's great on the Ducati and can be very helpful for Alex Marquez and Gresini as well, so I think that's an excellent idea. I've read comments about people saying Jack Miller's done for, Frankie Morbidelli's done for, go to World Superbike, retire, who cares? I don't subscribe to that point of view. I'm very much of the idea that these riders are excellent. They deserve more credit and respect. And just because you have a rider like Jack Miller who's struggling a little bit, Frankie Morbidelli who's had a bad couple of seasons, Doesn't mean that the next rider in line for that seat, i.e. a Moto2 rider, is going to be significantly better. Look at Augusto Fernandez right now. Had a terrific first season as a rookie. Granted, he'd won the Rookie of the Year because there was no one else to contend with him, but he did set some of the most overtakes of the season. Compared to any other rider, I do believe he was in the top 3, or actually number 1, for overtakes in the season. Never binned it, was very calm, very calculated to learn and understand the KTM. I thought he did a terrific season. But this year, it's so hard. You get a teammate like Pedro Acosta in, and Augusto Fernandez looks foolish. Anyone would look foolish next to Acosta. And I think that's unfortunate for him. And I've already read, oh, Digi Antonio's gone down as well, but I can't get quite past here on Pedro Acosta. He's so slow there into the final corner. Oh, got caught in the curb. But yeah, regarding Jack Miller, Frankie Morbidelli, Augusto Fernandez, people need to either give them time or an opportunity for them to shine. If they don't want to have that opportunity, I mean, look at the Yamaha for Frankie Morbidelli. Fabio Quartararo's not doing much with it now, and yet nobody's saying Fabio should retire. Nobody's saying he should go to World Superbike. Frankie Morbidelli was a runner-up in a MotoGP World Championship. Granted, Fabio Quartararo won one, but they have very similar performances over the past couple of years until 2021, where Frankie Morbidelli wasn't quite up to scratch compared to Fabio Quartararo. But yeah, nobody's saying that he should finish his career. Nobody's saying that Alex Rins should finish. People are saying that Luca Marini now and Joan Mir should finish because of the bad season with the Honda. That'll not always be the case. 2027, new regulations, new Honda will probably come in and kick ass. Not immediately, but we're probably going to get a repeat of the cycle of those Japanese motorcycles returning to the top step. I think it's definitely going to flip once again. I mean, if you said to me back in 2012, when Valentino Rossi was desperate to get off the Desmosedici GP12, if you told me that in 10 years' time they would be fighting for world championships, and in 12 years' time they would have won back-to-back, I would have laughed. And I wouldn't have believed you. But maybe then I would have had a little bit of hope for the future. But yeah, if you would have told me that Ducati would once become the best bike in the world, and Aprilia second or KTM second or third, I think you were crazy. So there's a lot of things to happen in MotoGP for the next couple of seasons, and I think the ones who are the biggest winners will be us. We get to witness it all unfold. The birth of Pedro Acosta, and probably, which is a very sad thought, but the final couple of years of Marc Marquez's career. I know he's an incredible talent, and he will be fighting for a world championship this season and next season, but he can't ride forever. Probably give him another 5-6 years and maybe he's going to think about quitting. Who knows? Hopefully not. I always like it when a rider shows that longevity and stays to the end. That's always extra special. But yeah, that's pretty much my discussion, and I don't know if you could call it a rant. No, I wouldn't call it a rant. I'm rather positive about MotoGP. I would just say a discussion on a one-sided form. I certainly hope you've enjoyed my the thoughts and mind of DrAce and sharing it with you guys here today. I'm a very positive, passionate fan of MotoGP, and nothing annoys me more than just people being so negative all the time about riders, about the sport. He should go, or World Superbike sucks, or MotoGP's terrible, or it's so annoying, it's so exhausting. We had one in the YouTube, in the Discord server, where someone claimed that World Superbike was just a failed MotoGP. Opinions like that just annoy me, so it's just so stupid. But anyway, final lap here in Assen. We've got a lead of 1.5 seconds now to Pedro Acosta. I think we've done the business. I think this has been a very, very eye-opening and interesting video, and I hoped I touched base upon the fact that Marco Bezzecchi is going to Aprilia, and I'm very hopeful for the number 72. There's one thing I want to add to the conversation, which I feel I should have mentioned already. Aprilia have struggled for sponsors over the past couple of years. They don't seem to be in the limelight to attract the major sponsors. I am hoping with riders such as Marco Bezzecchi and Jorge Martin, with such a following and a presence within MotoGP, that they'll be able to get a well-deserved sponsor. Something like Monster Energy or Red Bull. I imagine that they'll both take their sponsors with them, but if they can actually attain some decent form of sponsorship to help them with the costs within the Nuale factory, I think that could also go a long way for the longevity of the Aprilia team and the performance and development as well. So yeah, just a final thought before I end this video here today. So out of the Ramshook then, for the final time of asking in today's video, I'm sure you enjoyed the Assen Grand Prix in real life, now you've enjoyed it in virtual form as well. Guys and girls, big wheelie for the aces. Thank you very much for watching said video. So before we go, I'll just take a look at the confirmation on screen. Fastest man on circuit with the victory, of course, 2.8 seconds clear from the new prodigy of MotoGP, Pedro Acosta. So guys, thank you very much for watching the video. I sincerely hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know in the comments section down below. I'll see you tomorrow for more videos. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.